Hey guys, Chris here back from CNH Homology again. Got another quick video here for you guys today. Got a Toro recycler 22-inch self-propelled lawnmower here for you guys today. This is a one that has a less common Chinese source engine on this one specifically for that. This one, I honestly don't know who actually makes the engine on here because the identification tag does not list the actual engine manufacturer. It does have a slightly different or altered valve cover on here, and that's one of the dead giveaways for this specific machine. This machine also has a unique, we'll call auto choke system on here as well too. So I'll be highlighting some of that features, plus we'll also be going over the general review of the machine here as well too, plus the work was done to it specifically. Okay, let me get the actual parts here we had to replace here. This machine, the customer was originally claiming they could not get the thing started. It was sitting in storage for about 6 to 8 months, I believe they told me on the phone before they actually brought it over here. And what we initially found out was the guy did not have any gasoline in his gas tank right here specifically, and he had a bunch of like sediment, like it almost looked like fine powder debris, almost like a brown fine powder debris in there. So we put some gas in there to try to start it up. We typically fill the machine up about an eighth of a tank or a quarter of a tank, and just to do a demo test start the machine. The machine would not start, and the other thing was we took the bowl off on the bottom of the carb, and the carb was basically full of sediment in the actual fuel bowl down there as well too. And the other thing is this thing has like a Honda style air filler design on here as well too, so you can typically use a Briggs & Stratton air filler for this specific model right here. This is a Briggs & Stratton 491588S air filler right here specifically, so it's basically interchangeable with a Briggs or a Honda style air filler on here as well too. This machine's engine was specifically made for Toro in 2011 here, so you have the emissions compliance and the actual manufacture date, assembled in China, and 2011 model year specifically for that. So got the information about that, the engine's EPA calibration and stuff like that. It says for small off-road engines and designed to run on unleaded fuel right here as well too. One of the unique features about this specific machine is they have a different style of a auto choke system on here. I consider it like a hybrid system on here because what it does is it has a system where you have a kohler style auto choke system where Kohler uses a small disc shaped heating element on the exhaust side of the engine over here, and they have a linkage rod that goes over to the carburetor. Well, this one has that style of design, plus they also have a secondary style where they actually have a small black plastic air vane that goes up underneath your actual recoil cover housing right here and acts as an auto choke as well too. So what it does is you have a small vane up inside the recoil unit right here that opens and closes. So it's closed right now when the engine is actually cold, and opens up whenever the engine is pulled over and you start the engine up initially right here for that. So it acts like almost like an automatic choke system. So you have a hybrid between the two right here. So the primary one is the one that's extremely loose and light, which is the black plastic one with a wind vane. And then we actually have it right here for that, because we had to replace this one because apparently somebody was tampering with the machine before the guy brought it to us over here, and they did some Mickey Mouse repairs on the actual portion of it. And I even got a diagram here for you guys. This is what we had to replace as a secondary replacement on the machine here. These things have the as before, they have a black plastic element on here for that specifically. They have this wind vane right here. You can probably barely see it, but it is definitely on the paper here. You have a black plastic vane, and it has a linkage rod going from the actual wind vane right here underneath the actual recoil shroud right here specifically. And this is what it looks like right here. You can get that out of the way. It's a free gas cap. Okay, here we go. This is what it looks like right here. This piece was damaged and broke by somebody previous to us because it was not functioning properly at all. And what they have is you have this vane sitting up underneath your actual recoil unit dust cover assembly right here, and you have this linkage rod, this piece of steel rod here, and what it does is it fits in this little groove right down here as well too. You have this little groove right down inside here what actually happened was on this one, before we even had it over here in our shop, was someone was tampering with this thing, and they put some kind of a little white zip tie to retain this rod to this black plastic piece right here. And what that did was it was providing too much pressure, and it was not allowing the actual rod to disengage and engage on this piece. This was to go back and forth like so on here. It basically stuck in one position where it was closed the whole time. The other thing was, somebody put the bolt up through here, and this is the original bolt they had in here, and it was missing a little black rubber O-ring. They have a black rubber O-ring that sits on top here, and somebody tightened this thing extremely tight, and the air vane simply would not go back and forth as it's supposed to in here for that. And that was a secondary problem we did not see until we reassembled the machine with a brand new carb assembly, and also the cleaning out of the fuel tank and everything else like that, because we originally cleaned the fuel tank out on this machine. However, whenever we put the tank back on here, we noticed after we got done filling the tank up about 3/4 of the way on here, the fuel tank was leaking on this seam right here. We filled the gas tank all the way up to right about here, and it started weeping at the side right here, and we noticed that immediately after we got done putting gas in there, and the customer never once mentioned anything about that whatsoever. So we had to call him up and tell him he needed a new gas tank because of that problem. It was leaking right along the seams here. It must have been some kind of defective problem. I honestly don't know, but that stuff like that does happen from time to time, especially when you have Chinese source machines out there as well. So we had to replace the actual fuel tank. They also include a secondary free gas cap right here as well too, because the original gas cap looks like somebody tried to cross thread the actual threads on here. So they gave you two things. They gave you a free secondary gas cap whenever you purchase the brand new gas tank with the machine as well too. So we had to buy a secondary order for this machine, because the first order we had to purchase a brand new carb assembly for this job, and we had to get all new intake gaskets and stuff like that, plus a new fuel filter on here as well too. Plus the second order we had to amend the initial estimate for repairs, because the customer did not mention anything about somebody tampering with the secondary governor system on here. We did not find this until after we had reassembled the job, and this linkage kept on jumping out of the actual hole right here. Specifically, this linkage control, they have a so I can give a better shot here for you guys. Sorry about this, but this black piece right here, somebody totally broke this piece out right here, and what they did was they put a white zip tie to retain this piece right here onto this piece right here, and it was a total Mickey Mouse shit show design. I don't know why somebody did that, but they were tampering with the machine. They broke this piece right here, and they did not tell us about it at all. So we had to go back and revise our estimate for repair to the customer, and unfortunately the customer was okay with it. So we went ahead and revised the price, because we had to buy the additional parts and stuff like that. So basically what we did was we provided free labor for the installation for all the parts for the actual fuel tank and the actual secondary auto choke linkage mechanism right here as well too. So now machine's functioning great, and it's basically ready to go back to the customer right here as well too. So that's basically all the work that we had to do to get the machine running as it is right now. So we'll go ahead and fire this thing up here for you guys. You can see it running. The unique thing about the auto choke system with this style, as I said before, is it's a hybrid system on here, which means it has a feature of the Briggs & Stratton auto choke, where you have that big vane underneath the engine right here. Plus you also have the secondary feature of the Kohler style auto choke, where you have the linkage control arm with the heating element that's on side of the on the outside of the actual exhaust muffler over here as well too. So if you have the primary one that basically kicks open the auto choke, or the primary auto choke portion kicks open the actual choke mechanism as soon as you pull the engine over, and a secondary linkage from the heating element on the other side here, it goes over to the carburetor, and it opens up the carb once the engine is fully hot, and it keeps the actual choke choke plate open all the time, so you don't have to worry about the secondary one staying open and closed all the time, going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it's kind of a unique design right here, specifically for this machine right here. So we'll go ahead and fire it up here for you. Let me get the bag out of the way over here. Okay, here we go, guys. Let me hold my camera here in one hand, try to do as best I can, so bear with me here. There you go. go. It runs great. Fires up on one pull. No problems with it. Go ahead and shut it off here. And governor's working great. Auto choke's working great on here. So it's good to go. And the auto choke on this one right here, like I told you before, the black plastic one right here, it only takes about 8 to 10 minutes to install this thing right here if it's actually broke, so it's not really of a big job right here. You don't need pain in the asses, as long as you don't want to strip out the actual bolt that actually goes up into the recoil shroud unit, because you have a steel bolt right here, actually steel bolt that goes up through there, and you do not want to over tighten that one specific piece right here. Do not over tighten this bolt where it goes up through the actual unit right here for that. So you do not want to over tighten that whatsoever for that. So you can basically see it up underneath here. It's moving back and forth. Let me zoom in here for you. It's going in and out just like so, and that's how the auto choke, the secondary auto choke on the actual recoil shroud unit functions on here, and engages and disengages. So that thing basically kicks open to the open position where the choke will be off, and you'll be able to look straight through the carburetor. And once the engine stops, it goes back to the default position, which is choke closed right there for that. So it's kind of a unique design for this machine here for that. So if anybody has any comments, questions, whatnot about this machine, you can feel free to leave me a message here, and I'll try to get back to you guys about this. There's probably one other thing I forgot to mention here, the actual model number and serial number. Here we go. Model number and serial number is located on the back of the covering here underneath your bag or chute assembly here. So we'll go ahead and show you this right now. Get this thing out of the way here first. Bear with me here for a couple seconds. And there you go. There's your identification tag for the identification of the model number and serial number. 20372. And the serial number starts with 3120 as well too. So that's your identification plate. Always keep these things clean and accessible, because unfortunately I always get about maybe 1 or 2 guys per year that actually either remove those tags, or whoever was owning the machine before removed them. And you need to have your identification tag to order parts for your specific machine, but it's next to impossible to try to locate parts for a specific lawnmower if the identification tag is missing on your machine. So always keep that information in a safe and secure place. So once again, if anybody has any comments, questions, whatnot about this machine here, feel free to leave me a message here, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as humanly possible, guys. So I'll see you. Have a nice day.